So this is the final video in our section on error handling. So far, we've covered how to detect errors, review them automatically, surface them in the UI, and then route them to a human to review when needed. But what about those really strange, unexpected issues that don't follow any known pattern, the kind of true edge cases? Well, traditionally in software, these are handled with error codes, like fixed error codes with specific logic for known failure modes, and then a generic fallback like an unknown error occurred when things don't fit. But with AI in the loop, we don't necessarily need to treat edge cases as unknowable anymore. Instead, we can prompt the AI to describe what went wrong in context and then return that explanation as part of the structured output. In other words, the AI isn't just detecting a failure, it can narrate it as well. So let's hear Evan walk through how that works inside of a real workflow.
Okay, so let's talk about edge cases. Edge cases being that when we're working through any sort of automation or process, we may have, for example, we expect a user to click through a form and hit next, 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 next. But what happens if they hit next, next, and then close their browser and come back to it? Or next, next, and then go back, change a value, and then next again. Did we do any calculation in the middle where we need to recalculate anything? So these edge cases can get really tricky inside of workflows because from a UI perspective and the sequential form case, we can handle that by having different actions trigger at different times, hiding and showing things within the forms. But within a workflow, we have to handle these in the sequential workflow that we're working in. So, for example, with email order receiver has a very simple handling of edge cases in the sense that we don't handle edge cases in a traditional fashion. Traditionally, you would write code for each error message. This is not found. This detail is not found. No parts. All these different reasons code would have their own error code associated with them and would need to route accordingly. But with AI, we have the luxury of something's wrong here, just throw a parse error and then tell me what's wrong in the message portion of the flag. So traditionally in code, we have to write out exactly what we want to tell the user. But with AI and having the AI generate the log and flagging along with the expected output, we allow the AI to have the full context of what it's trying to think through and return that context with the items that we're expecting. So instead of handling for every single edge case that could happen within an email, we check to see, did we successfully extract it or did we not? And if we don't, just surface what the AI told us on the dashboard for the user.
So it's worth remembering that not every edge case needs to be or even should be automated. A key part of designing for edge cases is actually deciding when to solve something with logic or when to just escalate it for manual review. The more unusual and complex the scenario, the more likely it's probably better handled by a person. And one way to manage this is by setting clear limits in your prompts and only solving in your workflow for patterns you've seen a lot or have already seen. But for anything else, flag for a human to review. And if you're still early in this process and don't yet have much real data with real users, you can actually generate kind of edge case examples using a language model to test how your system behaves under pressure. For example, you could go to ChatGPT and say, generate me a CSV of data with this type of data and give me a broad range of examples with errors where data is missing or unexpected scenarios so I can really test my particular workflow.